I remember when the internet started at the agency.
They got internet, yes. I can't.
Watching the world wake up from history.
We're talking about an agency of around 400, 500 people. There were 4 computers in the agency at empty cubicles that had access to the internet.
There was very limited things that you could do.
During lunch or during downtime, there would be a bunch of people just over on the internet trying to figure out what the hell to do with it.
You could put some text on a website and maybe an image and, you know, some animating GIFs in the background. It took forever to download if you put anything of substance up there. People's attitudes then too, like they're not going to put a credit card on the internet.
20 years ago, there used to be a lot of manual integration of a lot of tools and code, and now it is a lot of click a button, add, save.
Nowadays, when I need rates from TV stations and radio stations, I get them immediately. In the past, it was all fax.
You weren't sending electronic files to a client to approve, you were sending real printouts.
Fax paper would run out, and then it would get jammed.
There was a clipping service. They were newspaper readers, like people would physically clip newspaper mentions.
If you were a really big office, you'd have 2 fax machines.
Yeah, I had my scissors and my glue stick, and I cut everything out and I put it in that notebook.
Jazz drives and zip drives and regular old floppy disks. Things would break and you'd lose your work.
You weren't emailing layouts. Email didn't send layouts. Email sent,
You've got mail.
email. Like, there was no, attachments weren't a thing.
Oh my God. Literally almost every single email I send probably has an attachment to it.
It was pretty much TV, radio, newspaper was really big, and magazines. That was it, billboards.
A lot of time was spent in the production part of it, making really great quality printed pieces. Paper samples, hand-tone color swatches, poster board, tape, rulers, cutting boards, X-Acto knives.
Few bad experiences with X-Acto knives, so I'm glad that I was born in the future.
You got up and you drove to Long Island or wherever you were going, and you went to the printer. You could see the magenta, cyan, black, and yellow dots.
2 size, 2 spec, so you could see the real printed piece. Spent lots of time doing that.
I can't remember the last time I've been to a print shop. Almost everything I work on now is digital, even billboards. It seems almost like a completely different career.
We learned to shoot everything on actual film. These old Bolex cameras, the tiny 16mm film, you'd have to send things off to processing to the lab, and it'd be weeks before you could see what you actually shot. Then the cutting was literally cutting with razor blades and tiny pieces of tape, and I'm not good with anything adhesive.
Do you want to see something cool? That took me like 10 minutes.
Relationships were much more personal.
Media used to be the fun part of an ad agency and whining and dining. I have some salespeople that I've worked with for 30 years.
And now I think we have created an environment where things are done now.
With no negotiations, no relationships, no math. I mean, I defy you to find someone at Facebook you can speak to.
I still love the paper, that tactile experience. It's a very ritualistic thing for me to have my coffee and read the paper. I think a lot of it is lost when you have your phone or you're just, you have your laptop open in front of you.
There's no time for me to go play 9 holes of golf with the vendor before we do a press check. Those gaps in people's lives I don't think exist like they used to exist.
I feel like it changed for a reason with internet and email and all that. It just makes the process go so much more smoothly and more efficiently, and it works.
And now this is that production studio. To me, it just enables that designer to be able to produce so much more in such a short amount of time. The possibility to do things is unbelievable.
So yeah, I think it is nice to have an undo button. There's more freedom behind it.
You can get an e-commerce store set up in 20 minutes if you wanted to. And that has opened the doors for a lot of small businesses, and a lot of sole proprietorships. It's been a game changer.
I would never be one of these guys, oh, advertising was so much better back then. I think the work that people do from a marketing standpoint, there's probably a lot more shit But there's also a lot more great work. You can think so much beyond the paper. We literally would work until, 7 or 8 or 10 or 12, and then we would all go to the same bar and all drink our entire earnings, and then we would go home and sleep, and we'd wake up and we'd do it again. And those were the golden days.